Hello and welcome to Show Up, Stand Out online visibility series for entrepreneurs. My name is Juliet Stapleton. I'm a visibility strategist, and my guest today is a social media specialist, Emma Weatherall, all the way from the UK. And hi, Emma. How are you?
Hi, lovely to speak with you today.
It's great to have you guys. Not only Emma is an expert in her field, she's a digital marketing consultant. She's known internationally for her high-level strategy expertise and passionate energy, which you're about to find out everything about it. But also, she's a single mom, and she started her business from scratch and literally brought it to 5K a month within weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and this is an interesting one because, guys, when you hear stories like that, often it's some sort of like a highlight reel of, good things that happened. And people don't say that they've been actually working for a couple of years before something happened. And they just change. They move the goalpost and they change the time. But it can happen with the proper strategy. So Emma is here to talk about this a little bit. And then we're going to talk more about Facebook and Facebook ads. So stick with us. And if you have any questions, pop them in the comments. And hey, we have a visitor. Hello. And so we are going to start. So Emma, maybe before we go into the Facebook and the strategies, tell us a little bit more about your story. How did you do this?
Absolutely. So I started this iteration of my business in, I think it was mid-February, beginning of February. And the reason I say this iteration is because it's important that you said that. I think that people, don't see the story behind. And I think it's important to say that, yes, by the beginning of March, February was already a five-figure month. I was already a four-figure month, and then March was even more. But I think it's important because I have actually been working for myself and running my own businesses since 2012. So although I had a break and I'd gone on to do some studying and I hadn't been working for about 18 months, I already had that background there. So I already kind of knew what I was doing. I knew the strategies. And when I decided to dive back in, I spent some time figuring out exactly what I wanted to focus on, what I wanted to target. And I took skills that I already had developed kind of in failing in other businesses and succeeding in other businesses. So I kind of, this was a commitment of, okay, let's really niche down. Let's really focus on what I'm doing and go all out in this one direction rather than kind of learning new things or trying to do something different. So I think it's important to know that there is a bit of background there. But yes, in this business, I started in about February, and within the first few weeks that it was flying, I was shocked myself, actually.
You know what you just said? What you just said as well is important, because a lot of people they think, first of all, the myth is that running an online business is easier than running an offline business. It's not. Yeah. Actually, I think that running an offline business, let's say in the local community, is much easier because you can just go and meet people. It's much more difficult to establish yourself to this crowd of billions of people out there. You don't know who's watching. You don't know who's following you, and you have to do a lot of showing up and without actually validation. When you're meeting people face to face, at least you know they're looking at you or they're not looking at you, right? It's harder online. So that's one. The other thing is running a business is also a tough thing, and you have to learn a lot of things. You have to learn to focus on one thing as well. And I think that when you started, and that's what happened to me as well, when I started my online business journey, I also ran a business from 2012 in digital marketing, but doing other things for people. It wasn't personal brand for me, and I said, okay, I need to do something with my face on it. But it was a journey of learning, and it was I almost lost myself, and I had to put myself together.
Yeah.
Because it's a journey of learning. But when you run a few businesses before, and you then have that experience, or you've tried several things and you have that experience, of course you can pick things, and then really, you need to focus. You need to act. You can't be saying, all right, I have visitors tonight, I'll do it tomorrow. No, you do it there and then, because you need to do it.
Absolutely.
And that's possible then, that within weeks you will see results.
Yes,
this is what we're talking about. Action taking. We're talking about focusing on things. We're talking about analysis of what's working, what's not working, right? And then you can put it together rather than just constantly looking for. I think people are looking for information outside too much, rather than looking inside and on their audience.
It's funny actually, because I've had two conversations, not similar, but hit on points that you've just said. So today I was speaking with somebody about what was different about a discovery call that I had. Why did I have a higher kind of closing rate and a securing rate with people that I was speaking and then they're coming to work with me? And I couldn't quite put my finger on it. But one thing that came up in terms of kind of taking action and doing things that feel scary, like putting ourselves out there, was I was brought up. My dad had this mantra that he would always tell us when we're scared to go next door and ask the neighbor for something, or if we're scared to ask for a favor. And I do this now with my life, and I do it with my son, and I apply it to my business as well. It's, what's the worst that can happen? And I was on a discovery call the other day, and something came up that I wasn't expecting, and I thought, you know what? If I answer this question, and I usually do that in an email afterwards, what's the worst that can happen if I voice this now? The worst that can happen is they balk at it, they say no, or my confidence is knocked, but that's not going to kill me. It's not going to injure me. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
And I kind of approach things like that, and it helps to take action. You know, if you put yourself out there, if you go on a podcast, if you go on a Facebook Live, go and speak in front of somebody, yes, it's super scary, but taking action to kind of commit to do these things and grow our business, what's the worst that can happen? You'll be a bit afraid.
Well, the worst that can happen is you yourself are going to be very, very difficult on yourself. That's the worst that can happen, because nobody else will be hard, or it doesn't mean if you go and do a live, like I'm doing regular lives, I'm very visible in the last 18 months, you know, from early last year, and not once I had a hater or somebody disapproved to me. Now I do block people very easily on Facebook. That's what you should be doing, you know. I don't care about what they think, and if they annoy me even slightly, I just block them.
It's a good
so I don't worry about that. But I never had haters. I never had anyone like that. I'm sure there's gonna be one, and then I'll know I made it. But that's a good time too, you know.
But the thing is as well, with the what's the worst that can happen mindset, is that that also brings up the risk factor. Like, what's the other side of it? So what's the worst that can happen? You'll get a hater, somebody will make something, you know, you'll feel bad about yourself, or you'll be critical. But on the flip side, what's the good thing that can happen? Like, what could come out of it? Well, people would know your name. You could work with people. You could, you know, start growing a business. So, that was one thing that came up in the last week. And the other thing was, I was speaking with somebody about reinforcing success. And it's interesting what you said about, you know, it is a journey. It is about learning what works, about learning what to focus on and think. And I think a lot of people sometimes look at things that don't work, or that aren't working for them, or that strategies that they've learned, and it's just not quite clicking somehow, and they keep trying and trying and trying to fix that. When they also have things in their business that are working, and actually it's a strategic decision to put all your resources and go, well, this is working, let's reinforce the success. We can look at that another time when I've got the time and the money and the resources and the energy. But when you're splitting your efforts and your resources between something that's not working and something that is working, you're also splitting the opportunity. So go, you know, reinforce the success, go with what's working and focus on the other stuff another time, or just forget about it.
You know what? A lot of people are afraid. It's about decision making, isn't it? It's about actually being brave or fearless. I love the word fearless. About being fearless in your decision making. And that's what people think. If they make a decision, that they have to commit, and to just, you know, if you decided it, or what other people will say if I change my mind. Nothing. You just change your mind. Yeah. I did U-turns in my business since I started the online coaching, you know, with the way I position myself. U-turns, you know, I could do anything. And tomorrow, if I decide that everything that I was promoting up to date doesn't work for me, I'm going to make a U-turn again, because at the end of the day, it's my business, and it's the way I want to run it. Who cares what other people judge me, or, you know, they have their own things to take care of. In my environment, it's their own businesses. So, you know, when you have that attitude, that gives you so much freedom. And can I just add a tip here as well? And I probably speak about it on these shows a lot, but a friend of mine and a person I did a mentoring session with advised me once to decommit from things that take my energy. It could be following people that you are too excited about, and then you're not doing stuff for yourself because you're just following too much. It's maybe helping people who are not paying you, and you're doing it for testimonials or something like that, but it actually takes a lot of time and energy. So you're producing the energy of free help, and you're attracting more of that energy. So then people come to your discovery calls and they don't want to work with you. They just want free stuff, you know, because you are attracting more of the same energy, right? So decommitting and just clearing your life from anything that doesn't work. Like you just said, why waste your energy? But what's very important is looking at what is working.
Yes, it absolutely is. It really is. And I think the other thing about decommitting is that we can often spread ourselves a bit too thin, especially online, especially on Facebook particularly. We want to be in all the groups. We want to be making sure we're reaching our audience. And there's so much now. It's really, a lot of saturated markets. Not all of them, but, some of them are very, very busy with people trying to be active there. And when we're trying to hit everybody and we're getting tiny, tiny little momentum in those little spaces, we're not allowing ourselves the opportunity to go really deeply and all out in some things that are going to get us more momentum if we focus on just 2 channels or so I think
so true. And can I just add to that, there's also a lot of strategies that were okay, let's say 5 years ago they were brilliant, 2 years ago they were okay, and people copped on that these are strategies, and they stopped reacting to them. Like even asking questions, like 5 years ago, if you ask somebody what are your struggles in your business, everybody would reply. Now it's like a question that doesn't get any engagement.
Yes, absolutely. And it's a funny thing actually, because one of my favorite ways to describe people when I'm talking about working with them, one of my favorite ways to describe social media when they're asking me about how I do things specifically is talking about agility and dynamism. For me, I think that to stay visible, to stay on top, to be seen in the online space, we need to be agile. That is the most important factor that we need to maintain. And also we need to be dynamic. So that's reacting fast, that's seeing what's changing and changing what we're doing. So although I don't think in our business we should in general be reactionary, we should plan. I think actually
not emotional. So reacting doesn't mean it's more flexibility you're talking about.
Absolutely. Agility and dynamic. I think we need to be dynamic and agile, and that is what's going to set people apart when you're growing your business on the internet, because we know that social media platforms are constantly changing. I mean, IGTV was just introduced the other day. Unless you were really in the Instagram world, you didn't have much notice of that.
No, I have 3 videos up. I'm so proud of myself.
I don't have any videos up, but I'll get there at some point.
It's actually a fantastic thing. I was, the funny way I found out about IGTV, somebody in America, and I don't know if it came out earlier in the US, they already had a show, and I was invited on this show.
Wow.
And I was like, I don't even know what it is. And I'm trying to Google it. I don't like, and then I realized in Ireland, we don't have it, and then I got it later on. But, this is something I am not so much on Instagram because I'm focusing on one thing. So I focus in Facebook. Let's talk about Facebook, because the show, I wish the show was 1 hour long, but it is. Yeah. Guys, I respect your time. I mean, thank you so much for watching this and staying with us live here. But we want to talk a little bit strategies here as well. So everything that we've said so far is really great takeaway to take on board, and how you have to, the mindset, the right mindset. Without a mindset, nothing's going to happen without the right one. But we want to talk about personal brand visibility. And my question to you is, I'm a very organic girl, so I don't really use ads. I do occasional boosts. I don't do anything strategic just yet, although, so the question is, in your experience and in your particular, how do you approach this, and how do you implement advertising with growing personal brand the right way, your way, Emma way?
That's important. A strategic way. Absolutely. So I think the Facebook ads particularly play a really important role in establishing a personal brand. And one of the things that they can be really helpful with is getting in front of more people, and more of the right people, more of the people that are best for you. And also, and I think a lot of people don't realize this, also hitting them in different places, because we know that Facebook ads work. We see them a lot in our feed, as we're scrolling through, it says a sponsored ad. We also have little ads in the sidebar, but what we don't realize that we can also reach people on different devices, on different platforms, because of course Facebook ads can also be seen on Instagram if we format them correctly, and ads can also be seen in the Messenger feed. They can be seen on kind of associated articles. There's so many ways that you can use them, but that is kind of like a bit of a periphery thing, because I think what's most important is getting in front of the right people. And when we're building a personal brand, we often are really clear on the types of people we want to work with, on the types of people that are really going to respond well to us. And we can not only really, really niche down with Facebook ads to get in front of those people, but we can actually test different aspects of those audiences as well. Test what messaging works with them, what imagery, whereabouts they are, really kind of define the people that we're working with, or we want to work with, and then get in front of them. And I find that so helpful. And then, as you discover that, and as you do get in front of more people, absolutely you can then move on to kind of using that for monetizing your brand as well.
Wow, that is so interesting. It's like a completely different world. I mean, it's important to know both worlds.
Yes.
I do not believe that just advertising without the organically showing up and showing who you are. If you're growing your personal brand, you really need to show who you are.
Absolutely.
A lot of people have an issue with that. They're like, oh, I'm an introvert. I'm an introvert, guys. I don't have friends, and I'm very quiet, and this is a different life. But this is actually this is not a mask. This is just a different side of me that is showing up as myself, because I feel secure online. Actually,
I feel the same.
Secure to talk to my webcam. It's my best friend.
I feel the same. It's funny, actually. I really love doing, like personality tests and finding out things about Myers-Briggs and Enneagram and things. And for a long time, I was showing up as INFP, and I would read things about ENFP and I think, but that's me. Am I an introvert? Am I an extrovert? I've since discovered apparently you can be an ambivert. But online, I was definitely extroverted. But when I'm with people in person, I feel super introverted, and I get drained by being with people.
Yes. Same here. Yes, that's right. And I actually find that a lot of people who are doing online entrepreneurship or online businesses, a lot of them are like this. They have an amazing energy. They're really attracting. They give a lot, but in the real life, if there was a lot of people around us, we get drained. I don't know if we were just too, empaths or whatever happens. But online, don't mind giving. It's
funny you say that, actually, because I'm with you. I believe that to have a really strong presence online, Facebook ads really help, but you also need to they interplay with your regular social, organic social presence. And I think it's interesting that we're talking about personality types, because I wonder if as well, online, we can be really ourselves and we can find our true tribe. And that is what Facebook ads help you to do. They help you to draw more people towards you that you would love to be surrounded with, that you would love to work with. In the real world, we have to kind of deal with whatever. We can't Facebook filter them out.
You know what it is? Exactly. There's no block button, and I wish there was. You know what I think it is? I really, truly agree with you, and I think that what you see online is the real deal. Because when I talk to my camera here, right now I'm talking through the camera to you, but if I do a live that's a one-woman show live, I'm talking to this webcam. I am being as authentic as it gets. I don't talk like this to anybody, probably not even to my husband, because there's no judgment. This camera doesn't judge. This camera doesn't talk back and tells me that I'm an idiot or something like, this is nonsense, what you're saying. And it's a friendly thing. So you get to actually be so open with it, and really, really be authentic. So what you see online, I do believe that this is the real deal. And that's why what you see offline, when you meet people face to face, there's all these other, mind games we play when we're in the social environment and we're communicating. Right. There's other things that play, not just, talking. So, and we're not always good at those things.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not a natural. And I have an 18-year-old daughter now who is a complete unnatural person with the socializing. And it's sometimes, and I look at her and I see myself. And it's exactly the same thing. So yes. Okay, so before I let you go, I mean, we didn't really talk that much about the ads, but I think what you said was very important.
Yeah.
And I know that you have something to get people started or to bring them more into the world of advertising. So let's talk about that.
Absolutely. So what I put together for people who are watching this live, I have a little link, which is emmaweatherall.com/Juliet. And it's just for you guys who are watching, because I was so excited to come on and speak with Juliet. But I'm going to offer you guys, if you want to, a little PDF, a document that is going to help you to establish your personal brand and help to boost that with Facebook ads, develop a conversation with the people that are really your tribe that you want to draw towards you, and help you to see how you can kind of shift from organic and really amplify that in the ad space to reach more people.
Thank you so much, Emma. Guys, grab that PDF and remember, you have to take action. Implement everything that's in it. Don't just download it and leave it on your desktop like people do. Unless you implement something straight away, it's not going to work. And I think
try things out.
Yeah, so if your focus is, and if you think that your next step is Facebook ads and personal visibility, then definitely this is for you. If not, just come back to this show, bookmark this show and come back to it and then download the PDF.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I love to get special gifts. It's always really nice.
My pleasure. It's been such a gift just speaking with you. I really enjoyed this. I feel like I want to keep going and go for a whole hour.
Well, we'll do another one. We'll do part 2 at some other time. So that would be great. Guys, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate, as always, as I say, I really, really appreciate. And I hope that we gave you value. We definitely shared a lot of insights with you that if you are on this journey, maybe a little bit behind us, that should really help. Focus on one thing, be authentic, don't be afraid of anything, nothing's gonna happen, and be yourself, but don't look inside. Don't look outside. Look at your audience and your business and inside and what works.
Yeah, and trust the process as well, Yeah. See what's working and try things out, take action and see where the journey takes you.
That's such a fantastic thing. Can I just, before I let you go, I'm going to tell you guys a story. 3 weeks ago, I thought I cannot swim. And then I bought a membership to the local swimming pool and I was terrified and I dosed for the first 2 times. I didn't go. My family went, but I didn't go. And the 3rd time I went there and I was terrified because I always thought I cannot swim, even though I learned a lot of times, but it just, issues. And all of a sudden, something happened to me at almost 42 years old. And over the last 2 weeks, I've learned to swim and now I swim like a pro. Apparently. So the swimming process is really for me, every time I swim, I think about visibility and about the online business because it's trusting the water and the water brings you. And as you do, as you swim in the water, if you actually just go with the flow and let the water bring you to your destination rather than just saying, oh my God, I have to reach the end of the pool, and getting stressed out and then you can't breathe. And, and this is such an amazing, analogy for me. Trust it. It's going to happen. Yes, we have the end of the pool, but if you just take action every day, just trust the process, you're going to be there sooner than you think.
Absolutely. And it goes back to one of my very favorite sayings, which is another thing that I live by, which is just feel the fear and then do it anyway. I
love it. That's my thing. That's my thing, guys. This is the fearless is my word. And this is exactly what I say. Do it anyway, because being fearless is not having fears. It's just doing again.
Yeah, it's feeling it and then pushing past it and just doing it because you know that it's going to work or it's going to be good for you and you're going to get results. Even if it feels scary, just take that leap and trust in the process.
That's true. Thank you so much, Emma. Guys, thank you so much for watching this. I will see you with another episode of Show Up, Stand Out. If you have any questions for me or Emma, pop them in the comments. Definitely send Emma a friend request or follow her, grab her PDF, and we will see you all in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you so much, Juliet.
Bye.